You know what's absolutely mind-blowing? A regular cupbearer to a Persian king became one of history's greatest project managers and rebuilt an entire city in just 52 days. But here's the kicker: he did it while facing death threats, political sabotage, and enemies who wanted to see him fail at every turn. Today we're diving deep into the book of Nehemiah, and trust me, this isn't your typical Sunday school story. This is a masterclass in leadership, resilience, and getting things done against impossible odds. By the end of this video, you'll understand why business schools should be teaching Nehemiah's strategies. Let me paint the picture for you. It's around 445 BC, and the Jewish people have been in exile for decades. Jerusalem, once the crown jewel of Israel, now lies in ruins. The walls are broken down, the gates are burned, and the people living there are vulnerable to constant attacks. It's basically a post-apocalyptic nightmare. Enter Nehemiah. He's living the good life in Persia, serving as cupbearer to King Artaxerxes. Think of him as the ancient equivalent of a chief of staff, someone the king trusts completely. But then Nehemiah gets devastating news from his homeland. His brother Hanani arrives with reports that Jerusalem is in shambles and the people are in distress. Here's where it gets interesting. Nehemiah doesn't just feel bad and move on. He's absolutely heartbroken. The text tells us he sat down, wept, mourned for days, fasted, and prayed. This guy's emotional intelligence is off the charts. He understands that before you can lead others through crisis, you have to process your own emotions first. But Nehemiah's prayer isn't just emotional venting. It's strategic planning disguised as spiritual preparation. He confesses the sins of his people, acknowledges God's faithfulness, and then, and this is crucial, he asks for favor with the king. He's already thinking 3 moves ahead. Fast forward 4 months. Nehemiah is serving wine to the king when Artaxerxes notices he looks sad. In ancient Persia, being sad in the king's presence could literally get you executed. But Nehemiah takes the risk and explains the situation. Not only does the king give him permission to go to Jerusalem, but he provides letters of safe passage, timber for construction, and military escort. Talk about turning crisis into opportunity. Now here's where Nehemiah shows his genius. When he arrives in Jerusalem, he doesn't immediately announce his plans. Instead, he does a secret reconnaissance mission at night, surveying the damage himself. He's gathering data, understanding the scope of the challenge, and formulating his strategy before revealing his hand. When Nehemiah finally calls the people together, his pitch is masterful. He doesn't focus on the problems everyone already knows about those. Instead, he shares his vision, tells them about God's favor, explains the king's support, and then delivers the killer line: "Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace." He transforms shame into motivation. The response is immediate and unanimous: "Let us start rebuilding." But here's where the real drama begins. Nehemiah faces a 3-pronged attack from enemies named Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem. These guys use every trick in the book: mockery, intimidation, false accusations, and even death threats. They spread rumors that Nehemiah is planning rebellion against Persia. They try to lure him into meetings that are actually assassination attempts. But Nehemiah's response strategy is brilliant. He prays for strength, posts guards, arms his workers, and keeps building. Half the people work while the other half stand guard with weapons. He literally creates the world's first construction security force. The psychological warfare intensifies. His enemies send him 4 invitations to meet, each one a trap. Nehemiah's response each time: "I am carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and go down to you?" He refuses to be distracted from his mission. Even when they hire a false prophet to try to make Nehemiah hide in the temple and compromise his integrity, he sees through the deception immediately. The result? The wall is completed in 52 days. Their enemies are stunned and realize that God was behind this incredible accomplishment. But Nehemiah's story doesn't end with construction. He implements social reforms, addresses economic inequality, and leads a spiritual revival. He's not just a project manager, he's a transformational leader who understands that rebuilt walls mean nothing without rebuilt hearts. The book of Nehemiah teaches us that effective leadership requires vision, strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, and unwavering commitment to the mission. Sometimes the greatest victories come not from avoiding opposition, but from persevering through it with wisdom and determination. What seemingly impossible project in your life needs a Nehemiah approach?